Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us, and welcome to this edition of the WLBT Digital News Desk. I'm CJ LeMaster, your host and lead investigative reporter for WLBT. We are beginning with breaking news just moments ago. We've been telling you about this synagogue fire at the Beth Israel synagogue here in Jackson, the only synagogue in Mississippi, but we have new information about the man arrested. He has been identified. The Associated Press is reporting that the identity of the individual is Stephen Spencer Pittman. He was arrested, of course, as we first told you yesterday, and we are learning new information. And again, it's limited information at this point because this is a local, state, and federal investigation. ATF and the FBI are involved. We want to show you surveillance video of the incident itself. This is from Saturday, and you can see here the individual pouring gas around the lobby area of the Beth Israel building there on Old Canton Road. This, of course, taking place in the early morning hours, pre-dawn hours of Saturday morning. The fire was reported shortly afterward. Congregation leaders say they are devastated but determined to rebuild after the fire caused extensive damage to the building. They say investigators quickly determined the fire was arson and got someone in custody. Here's how, which of course was Mr. Pittman. Here's how one of the first responders described the scene.
At approximately 3 o'clock a.m., units from the Jackson Fire Department received a phone call to respond to 5315 Old Canton Road at the Beth Israel congregation for a possible church fire. When units arrived on scene, they did find smoke and flames coming from the structure. At that time, forcible entry was required. Once they got inside and the fire was extinguished, at that time, they could not determine the origin and the cause of the fire, so they requested a fire investigator to come out.
Beth Israel says its worship services and other programs will continue at temporary locations. Several local churches are offering their space. Now, unfortunately, this is not the first time the synagogue had been targeted. Back in 1967, shortly after the current building was constructed on Old Canton Road, it was firebombed by the Ku Klux Klan. The hate crime made news across the country. The rabbi at that time, Perry Nussbaum, had been an outspoken supporter of civil rights, and his own home was bombed as well 2 months later. Jackson Mayor John Horn condemning the attack in a statement saying, in part, acts of anti-Semitism, racism, and religious hatred are attacks on Jackson as a whole and will be treated as acts of terror against resident safety and freedom to worship. The mayor says the city stands with Beth Israel and the Jewish community and will support them as they recover. Horn also says local and federal investigators' work led to the swift arrest of the suspect that we named earlier. You can read his full statement on our website, WLBT.com. Jackson Police Chief and Hinds County Sheriff Tyree Jones also sharing that sentiment with the mayor, saying in part, these acts are not just crimes. They are attacks on people's sense of safety and their freedom to worship without fear. Chief Jones also saying the Jackson Police Department is with you, speaking directly to members of Beth Israel and the Jewish community. His statement also available online at WLBT.com. Police are investigating a homicide after a teenager was found shot to death in the woods. We now know the identity of that victim. This took place on Livingston Road near Forest Avenue Saturday. When police arrived, they found 17-year-old Devarius Milton in a wooded area suffering from gunshot wounds. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Detectives now working to piece together what led up to the shooting. They have not determined a suspect or motive there. Police stressed that any information matters in this case, even details that may seem small. If you have any information, please contact Jackson Police or Crime Stoppers. In other news, in North Mississippi, specifically Clay County, 6 people, including a 7-year-old child, are dead after a shooting rampage Friday in that area. The sheriff there, Eddie Scott, says 24-year-old Derica Moore is now in custody and faces multiple charges. Investigators say the shootings began at a home where the shooter killed 3 relatives: his father, Glenn Moore, his uncle, Willie Guinness, and his brother, Quentin Moore. They say the suspect then stole his brother's pickup and went to another home and killed 7-year-old Michaela Gines. 2 more victims were later found at another location. Moore was eventually captured nearby. He's set to be in court today, and of course, we will be following that story as more information is available. Police are also investigating a road rage incident, shooting outside of a Flowwood Chick-fil-A, the one located there on Lakeland Drive near Treetops. Officials identifying the suspected shooter as 39-year-old Kyle Maurice Ramos of Jackson. They say he shot a man during an argument in the drive-thru line at this location. The bullet hit the victim's foot, but police say steel-toed boots likely prevented serious injury. Ramos is charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and possession of a firearm by a felon. He's now in jail and awaits an initial court appearance. The police department in Lexington is without a police chief this afternoon. The state's Department of Public Safety says former police chief Charles Henderson is not eligible for certification right now. In a statement posted to Facebook last night, DPS says, based on our policies, it has been determined that Charles Henderson is not eligible for certification at this time, and his certificate is suspended or under review. The decision stems from an incident back on November 14th, 2024, when Henderson was employed with the Jackson Police Department. And of course, we're working to get more information for you on that. We have one uplifting story to tell you about. It's something that we have been reporting for a minute, but thankfully it's going to happen. And many of you have been wondering about this. Thalhiamara Hall reopens this week. The city auditorium set to open tomorrow. It had been closed since August of 2024 due to mold and other problems. It's opening just in time for its first event, Wednesday, January 14th, where former Vice President Kamala Harris is hosting a conversation with Kamala Harris in the venue at 7 p.m. It's part of her 107 days book tour. The book follows her days on the campaign trail in the 2024 presidential race. You can also buy tickets to her meet and greet session beforehand that includes a photo with Harris and a signed copy of her book. Several of you saying hello on this Monday. Sheikah Hampton saying hello, everyone. Happy Monday. I have to rise above because there's so many hearts there. Thank you for that, Sheikah. Britt saying happy Monday, everyone. Britt, glad to see you as well. Jacqueline Davis, hello from Durant. Have a wonderful, blessed day, everyone. Jacqueline, I hope that you're doing well. Tanisha Roby Caston saying hello all. Hope you're doing well. And of course, Jan Gibbons Hendon is watching and saying, hope your day will be a good one, Jan. I hope yours is as well. The start to the work week. Britt talking about the synagogue fire there at Beth Israel, saying some humans are idiots. Setting fire to a place of worship is just foul. And it's something we haven't seen in a while. Now, I can tell you that when the initial reports came out this weekend, already the FBI and ATF was assisting, which gives you some reason to believe that they already were suspecting that it might have been a bias-motivated crime or hate crime there, because, again, the federal investigators don't usually step in for run-of-the-mill fires regardless, and we've had a number of fires at residences and things of that nature that were not necessarily considered this malicious. We've had some that may have been accidental, as you know, and of course others that might have been even arson related, but this is the first time we've seen this at a church, and specifically the only Jewish synagogue in the state. So this is something that we will continue to follow up on. Our reporter Adarius McCormick is looking into this, and he will have updates later on today in our early evening newscast. So be sure to tune in for that. As we said at the top of this newscast, at the top of this update, minutes ago, receiving information through the Associated Press that the suspect in that synagogue fire, is Stephen Spencer Pittman. We do not know at this point officially from officials where he's from, any information about him, or his age or any of that. We are working to get more information and try to get as much of that as possible. Because this is a federal investigation, some of those details, including a mugshot, things of that nature, it may be more difficult to get that information to news media, meaning if they don't send that out to us, that we might be delayed in being able to get it to you, but we're going to get you the latest information as we get it. And if there are any delays, please know that it's not because we're not trying to release that to you, let you know information about the suspect, where he's from, what he looks like, but certainly because we are at the mercy of what law enforcement releases to us. We thank you so much for watching this digital news desk update. At 2:30, we're going to have the First Alert weather team in here to give you an idea of what you can expect this week. And of course, our early evening newscasts start at 4 p.m. on air and online for everyone here at WLBT News. I'm CJ Lemaster, your lead investigative reporter and your host for the WLBT Digital News Desk Update every day at 1 p.m. when we're able to. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you back here tomorrow.